Gotham into an icy graveyard. Then I will pull Batman's heart from his body and feel it freeze in my hands.
Looks like we're firing this up again. Welcome to Movie the Bus. I'm Todd.
I'm Owen. Yeah, what the fuck did we watch this week, Todd?
The Batman.
The Batman.
Yes, we did watch The Batman.
I'm the Batman.
Is Michael Keaton the Batman?
What? I don't know. pick one.
I mean, we got all your favorite Batmans. We got West. We got Keaton.
Clooney's my favorite.
Ooh.
It's just
the Bat card.
I just like how he can't move his neck.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best part.
Oh, the Bat nipples.
Oh, the Bat nipples are good.
Yeah, the Bat credit card is great. Bat nipples.
I love those Bat areolas.
Yeah, the Bat Aries. Oh, yeah.
Those are tight.
Yeah, I saw an interview with Clooney where he was talking about how, like, he was, like, in the Sudan, and he's like, the kids were, like, looking at me, like really, like, upset. And he's like, I feel in my heart that they were like, you ruined Batman.
Yeah, that's gotta suck.
Yeah, it's funny. He talks about how he worked with Joel Schumacher, which I don't know if you've ever heard Joel Schumacher talk. He kind of sounds like Andy Dick, kind of.
Okay.
Like the director. Yeah. He did that famous movie, Flatliners, like the Kiefer Sutherland one from the 90s. Yeah. But George Clooney talks about how he was like, yeah, it was really hard to get in character. Like, we would start, and Joel Schumacher would be like, all right, George, your parents are dead. You're an orphan. And action. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, this is what I have to work with.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So that kind of gave me a look into, like, why that movie was very unsuccessful.
No parents.
Yeah, he's like, no parents. Oh, Will Arnett also like Batman.
Oh, yeah, Will Arnett is another Batman.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there's been a few. Val Kilmer also, Batman Forever.
Yeah.
Which is a good segue into that because the Riddler was Jim Carrey in that one.
That's true.
And
Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, it was Two-Face.
Was Harvey Dent. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, it was Two-Face.
I just saw, while I was rewatching Norm Macdonald show.
Oh, nice.
When they had Jim Carrey.
Oh, okay.
And he was saying how Tommy Lee Jones hated him.
Oh, really?
On set. And he's like, one day Tommy Lee Jones came up to me and says, I can't handle your buffoonery. Just imagine, like, you gotta imagine that Tommy Lee Jones is like one of the most serious actors ever, right? He's like, this is what I'm putting up with. And meanwhile, he's in like
Jim Carrey's like, I can't turn it off. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah, he's like method acting over there. He's like, I got half of my face burnt off over here.
He danced around here like it's true.
Is this a joke to you?
It's true though, because in the movie, like, you see Batman for Jim Carrey's like, it's like classic Jim Carrey. He's always walking around like the Ace Ventura, like, you know, with his hands. Like, he does a lot of that. The classic Jim Carrey,
like fucking Grinch shit.
Yeah. Like that's what that's like, you know, he's like, no, Jim Carrey has that, and I love those like classic like.
Yeah, I mean, obviously those were a very specific tone where it fit.
Yeah. Into
the movie.
And this one, not so much.
Yeah, you got to imagine, like, you can probably pick out frames of that movie where Tommy Lee Jones' face, and you can just see him thinking, I can't believe I agreed to do this.
Why am I doing this?
Weird, we're about to talk about one of the other Batman movies, but just because it's just popped into my head. But I was thinking at the beginning of The Batman 2022 when there's those like kid gang that he fights.
Oh yeah, the little Roman
one
gangs.
Kid has like half of the face painted.
Ooh.
I was like Two-Face or half. What's his name?
Two-Face.
Two-Face.
Not half-face.
Two-Face reference. Yeah. And I thought maybe, because I didn't know when the movie was about, I was like, oh, maybe that's like a Harvey Dent thing. But anyway.
I have a theory about that, but we'll get into that one.
Okay, let's table that, because I guess we gotta do a fucking intro for this shit.
Yeah, I guess we do.
So we watched not the Val Kilmer Batman, not the George Clooney Batman.
No,
I'm not going to list all of them.
Not the Michael Keaton.
We already got
the guy with the eye mole.
We watched the fourth Batman movie in the Dark Knight series. No, it kind of felt like that, but I'll get into that later. We watched The Batman.
The Batman.
2022.
Yeah, so this movie's been in production for obviously forever, and I mean it's been done as far as I've known for a long time, and
well, since the 40s. When did the comics come out?
I think that
50s maybe.
50s, yeah, maybe. I don't quote me on this, but like I'm pretty sure like Action Comics I think is one of the first ones.
Fuck, the emails are already coming in from the diehard Batman.
The diehard Batman.
Fucking assholes.
He's also a scientist.
He didn't even wear a suit the first episode.
No, but yeah, so I feel like this thing is like this movie's been done for a while, and like obviously like because I think they started shooting this like 6 years ago or something like that.
No shit.
Yeah, I think it was a long
know
time.
that. I remember
I think
like
it was a while
hearing
ago.
about
It was like 5-6 years ago they started shooting this.
Fuck me.
And I think it's because of COVID and everything. I think it was ready to come out. Like I think it was originally supposed to come out last year. And
yeah, I'm sure like everything.
Yeah, like a lot of stuff. Like
especially like a movie when you obviously you have to put a lot of like this movie takes a lot of time.
A blockbuster. Yeah.
So like, yeah,
you want to make your money back, right? Like Avatar, right? Avatar's been done for a while. It's just
that's true.
Mr. Cameron's sitting on it until. You know, actually, funny enough,
gee, I really hope 3D technology takes off.
Yeah, like he's waiting.
Yeah,
apparently he's got them all done.
Yeah, they're all. Yeah. I think they're supposed to go out like yearly. Anyway.
Yeah, because I think we had this discussion a little while ago too. It was like been what fucking like when did that one come out? Like 2010,
2009.
Oh fuck, man, that's like 13 years ago.
I know. I've been waiting that long to see the fucking sequel, man.
Yeah, like that's crazy. But he wanted it to be done his way.
It was first supposed to come out in 2012. So,
really?
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah, kind of like a Star Wars scenario every 3 years.
But he was waiting for technology to catch up, and I don't know like if
the distance, the time between Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 is pretty close to that exact same time gap, right? Terminator 1's like what 85, 86,
84,
and then I think T2 is 92. So yeah, like what?
Was that the same deal? He was waiting for.
No, I think
technology.
I think it was. I don't know if it's a technology thing. I think it was like a script thing.
Well, obviously he was in a place in the industry where he could have a completely different budget. So there's that. Like obviously T2 has like 6 times the budget.
But yeah, anyway, but the distance, like the time between the two movies is like, you know, we ended up getting a better movie, right? So
that's true.
A better sequel, right? So that's what you always want,
well,
right?
I am of the small percentage that likes Terminator 1 more, but...
Okay, but I'll give you that. Like, they're two different styles of movies.
Yeah, and also it's just like, man, that's like a fucking perfect movie. It's like a perfect sci-fi fucking thriller horror movie. Like,
I mean, it falls in the same thing.
It's a unique story. You know, it's dope.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the first one's great. Like, it has all those great lines, like, I'll be back, come with me if you want to live, like, yeah.
Which sound just... funny and terrible now because of how overused they are.
Yeah, but imagine at the time.
Sequels.
But imagine at the time in like the 80s when that's coming out. That's like a huge thing. Everyone's like, holy
the second
fuck.
one.
No, I'll be back is the first one when he goes to the cop station and they're like, you're not. He's like, you can't come in here. He's like, I'll be back. And then he comes in and that's when he's blowing up the cop station.
Yes, true.
And Hasta La Vista, baby, is the second one.
Yeah, they switch it though in the second one where I'll be back is obviously like a savior.
Yeah.
Which, fun fact on the AFI, like, top 100 villains and top 100 heroes.
What, is he the only one on that?
He's the only one on both.
On both? Yeah.
As a hero and a villain.
Yeah. Nice.
Which
cool.
is sweet.
I hope he's not in there for those other Terminator movies, because, man. Oh. But anyway.
The Emilia Clarke one that is, like, a different universe. What do you call it? Like, it's a different timeline, whatever.
It's like a multiverse kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, let's not even get into that because I fucking hate
all those movies were so bad.
Yeah,
like
all bullshit.
Right after the third one had like 1 or 2 redeeming qualities about it, but overall pretty garbage.
Oh, the third one had. Speaking of, I'll be back.
Talk to the hand.
Hasta la vista. Talk to the hand.
Yeah, which wasn't even something that they kind of. I mean. They kind of just used something that was like a big thing at the time, right? Where it was just like, you know, like
he's learning.
Eat my shorts, right? You know?
Eat my shorts.
You know, I'm gonna say eat my shorts.
he should have said
my shorts.
I can imagine the Terminator just wearing like cargo shorts.
Eat my shorts. There you go.
Eat my shorts.
There you go. Perfect.
Was this Commando?
Commando. Dude, Commando's great.
Stick around.
No, that's Predator.
No, that's Commando.
That's Predator. 100% that's Predator.
Okay, fine. Do you think so?
I know
fucking Commando.
No, Commando's that's Predator. That's when they're going into they're going into the jungle. They're going into
Yeah,
bust up that.
Yeah,
little,
okay.
He throws a
throws
machete at the
machete.
guy. Yeah.
All right, fine.
Sorry.
No, you're probably right. Yeah, I just okay.
I've seen that movie enough times.
That's true.
It probably stands alone as like probably one of my favorite action movies.
Nice.
I'd
Yeah.
probably put Predator up there. Like
The Predator's dope.
yeah.
Yeah.
As an action movie, it's got checks a lot of
I don't
boxes.
got time to bleed.
Oh yeah. Oh nice. Yeah. We can maybe segue that into another segment because that's who's that? That's Jesse the Body Ventura, famous wrestler from WWE. Yeah. Which WrestleMania was on the weekend, so maybe we'll
That's
segue
true.
into some WrestleMania stuff later.
Let's
Maybe talk about
that.
some classic wrestling movies. But anyway, let's talk about the real heroes, the Batman.
Yeah, fuck. So, first of all, let's just say that it was written and directed by Matt Reeves.
Matt Reeves.
Who did Cloverfield. The Cloverfield guy, and then he did the Planet of the Apes movies.
Which are good flicks.
Yeah.
Very good flicks. Better than Mark Wahlberg.
I mean, Cloverfield's dope. So.
Cloverfield's not bad.
Yeah, so the other writer on the Batman was Peter Craig, who did, like, The Town.
Okay.
And he just did the top of a Maverick movie.
Okay.
And apparently, I just found this out, he's doing the Gladiator 2 sequel.
No.
I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
Yeah.
But you can't. How do you. But everyone dies.
The only one attached to it, because this is just announced, the only one attached to it is Ridley
Please
Scott.
don't be Ridley Scott. Oh, come on. He's so old. Like, why is he making these movies?
I know, and I
still?
what was the last movie I saw that I fucking hated? Oh, The House of Gucci.
Oh, yeah.
He did that fucking old fucking what a fucking hack. I love Ridley Scott, but what the fuck is he doing?
He's made some bad ones.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, 2022 is too late to do a fucking movie with a bunch of American actors just doing shitty Italian accents.
Dude, that Gladiator movie came out, I just, like, dawned on me, like,
2000.
That's 22 years ago. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
So, okay, I was going to say this. The only one attached, so other than Ridley Scott, is the kid from the first movie. So,
As an adult? I would
Well,
assume so, yeah.
no, he's still the kid.
How do they do that? It's Hollywood movie magic.
CG.
CGI.
What do you call it? The face thing?
the
Deep fake?
Deep fakes.
Yeah. No, I assume there's no story or plot yet, but I assume it's like, the kid, grown up, Lucius, what's his name?
I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
Because everyone dies at the end of that. Joaquin dies.
Except the kid.
Spoiler if you haven't seen it.
Any fucking way. Whatever. We don't know anything about that, so that's probably something to talk about.
Why ruin a classic? Anyway, I got my gripes with that, but I can go on about that.
But yeah, it
for
looks
days.
like this guy keeps doing all the sequels or whatever. Like, I guess Batman's like a sequel or reboot, whatever. Reboots.
Yeah,
he's doing the Top Gun reboot. He's doing the Gladiator reboot. I mean, good writer.
Good writer, yeah. Solid, I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah. Let's go into the fucking... So, obviously, this is like... I mean, it's a Batman movie, stacked cast.
Yeah, they really went all out. They brought in a lot of people into this one.
So, it stars Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano,
PD.
Andy Serkis.
What?
Jeffrey Wright.
What?
Gordon, the guy from...
Oh, Westworld.
Westworld.
Bernard.
Yeah. It's got John Turturro,
Oh.
who's I'm a big fan of him. Colin Farrell. Quick little thing I gotta add here.
You didn't know that was him.
No. I knew you were gonna fucking say that.
No.
And I remember hearing he was in it, but especially, so I'm not one that like looks up movies a lot before they come out. And especially a movie like this where, I don't really care that much about the Batman or whatever. So I remember hearing that way back and I just forgot. Yeah.
How sick was that? You didn't even notice him.
I mean, he was great. And I kind of wish I knew because I would have been more like watching his performance because I'm a fan of Colin Farrell. But, cool.
Yeah, cool. He does a good job.
Do you want to talk about the actors at all?
Let's get into the acting.
Get into the...
Overall, acting-wise, solid job, everybody, I guess. Like, I don't, like, I have some gripes, obviously. Like, I have some issues with some stuff.
Okay. I don't think I have any gripes with the acting.
No, I don't think so. No. It's more or less what you're given to work with, right? It's kind of like where I'm looking at more. Like,
John Turturro's character didn't really have that much.
No, but he did a good job.
Of course.
What he had, right? Yeah. There's a lot of, like, the monologues are well done. Like, through the characters. Like, whenever the character had a monologue scene, it was usually very, like, on point. Like, it was very, like... It was, like, crisp. It was dark. It was nice. It was, like... You felt it. It was good. But
yeah, so everyone was like on pitch, like
Yeah.
tonally perfect.
yeah, I do enjoy the interaction between Robert Pattinson and Commissioner Gordon.
Jeffrey
you know,
Wright was
He was very
great.
good. He was very good. That guy's usually good in most things.
Yeah.
Like, he's very solid. He's dependable. Like, you know what you're gonna get, right? I've rarely seen this guy in anything.
What about Andy Serkis?
Andy Serkis? As much as I liked him in the movie, he's not really in it.
No. We should say plays Alfred. Andy Serkis plays Alfred.
Yep. Alfred Pennyworth. Pennyworth?
I don't fucking know.
Pennyworth, yeah.
But yeah, he plays Alfred. I mean, yeah, I guess Michael Caine had that Alfred maybe
It's
had
all
a
right.
bigger role.
It's Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Sure.
Michael Caine.
It's also that, and Michael
The
Caine,
Batman.
and
Sorry.
no one loves
I'm done.
off Michael Caine, so you know there's gonna be
Yeah.
there's gonna be Michael Caine parts in it, right?
But
no, I didn't actually hate the absence of the butler. I was like,
exactly.
he's the butler. We get it.
Yes.
Like, you know what? Like, it's like, you shouldn't be
He
doing
really
that.
didn't do much. The one weird thing I will say, I guess in a script wise, but hey, maybe this is one of those things that were cut because it's a 3-hour movie.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
We'll get into that later, but they didn't really establish their relationship, which maybe you don't have to because it's Batman. We know the relationship.
Well, yeah. We'll get, we can get into that in a bit too about, how the movie's set up, but,
Right.
I agree with what you're saying. I do very much agree with what you're saying.
So perhaps there was a little scene where they, introduced their relationship. But the first time you see him, he's like, Robert Pattinson's on the computer.
Doing Batman stuff.
And he's just behind him giving him,
Giving him
advice
shit,
or
yeah.
whatever. And
Give him shit. He's like, you shouldn't be doing this. Blah, blah, blah. You know how they always...
And then later you have that one.
You know what? He's going to fucking do it anyway. So it's like, why are you you shouldn't be out there saving the world. It's like, whatever. You know he's going to do it. So.
Yeah. And later you have basically Andy Serkis Alfred saying, "You'll always like a son to me," which is his entire arc.
Yeah, right? That was his whole arc.
There's one little thing he does too, which is a spoiler. We'll get into that later. I'll just didn't mention who plays who. So obviously everyone knows Robert Pattinson plays the Batman. Zoe Kravitz plays the Catwoman.
Selena Kyle, Catwoman. / Catwoman.
Why doesn't she get a the? Is she the Catwoman or is she Catwoman?
It's just Catwoman. It's
So why is it the Batman?
Well,
Also, why isn't Batman too fucking... people
no,
are gonna...
it has to be the Batman because you can't do Batman because there's already Batman with Michael Keaton.
No, I know, but people why would people call him the Batman?
Because he's the Batman.
Then that
Not
should
a
be two
Batman.
words.
Not a Batman. He's the man who dresses as a bat.
There's only one.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I'm moving past that. Paul Dano plays the Riddler.
AKA the Green Bastard.
Is that a thing?
No.
Oh.
I just thought he looked like the Green Bastard.
From
Trailer
Park
Park
Boys.
Boys.
Yeah, that's true. It's got his face taped up.
Yeah.
So that was my only thing, which is not, kind of fair for me to say, but I wish I saw his face more because I love Paul Dano.
Yeah.
But he
obviously a big part of the movie is you don't know that the Riddler is Paul Dano, but spoiler alert, it is. You see it in the eye.
Knows.
We all know it is.
Because
that was kind of one of the anticlimactic things I had. The movie basically focuses around a murder mystery, so it's once you find out it's him, I was like.
But it's he's not a character. His regular personality, the Riddler, and whatever his name is. He's not a character in the movie that could be one of the possible suspects.
No, he's not. He's an outside
He's just
character.
the Riddler.
Yeah.
The whole time. But
just a
John Turturro plays Carmine Falcone, which is that a character?
Yep. In the Batman universe, he's one of the big mob bosses.
Okay.
I believe it's the Falcones and the Maroni family. I believe it is. I could be wrong on this. And it's just the two rival gangs. There has to be two rivaling gangs that kind of go up against each other.
That makes sense based off of the information in the movie.
Yeah, fair enough. There you go. You got it.
Because the Maronis I talked about, he tried to take them down, whatever.
Yes. That's right.
And then Colin Farrell plays the Penguin.
Yeah, which was you didn't know that was him.
No,
Great job,
and also, and they do it very much he's not in a fucking pagan costume. He just has a Danny DeVito.
Yeah, Danny DeVito. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but do you want to talk about Pattinson?
Yeah, that's the big one. So, I mean, a lot of conflicting things about that. Like, a lot of people are like, why is it so, like, emo? Like, why is it so, like, why is
You
it...
mean before or after the movie came out?
After the movie came out. Like, a lot of people... Well, that was the people's big concern. They were like, why are they picking this guy? They're like, he has
This is the Twilight guy.
Yeah. That was their
Harry
big
Potter.
thing. Yeah, but everyone had neglected to, like, Lighthouse.
But, dude, in the last 10 years...
Yeah, his movies are fucking amazing.
Not the last couple years. Like, the last 10 years, he's been doing, you know, A Good Time, The Lighthouse, there's a Tenet, and a bunch of, like, indie movies.
Yeah, he's in big stuff.
But like, I'm a huge fan of Pattinson.
Oh, yeah. I think he was great, too. I think he just had the unfortunateness of... He was in the Twilight movies, which, like we discussed in an earlier episode, earlier.
I don't
shout out to our Oscar special about actors getting into stuff too early. You know, like how we said, like Andrew Garfield's had gotten in acting. He got into that
true.
role.
So you get
pigeonholed.
Yeah, pigeonholed, typecast, or like not respected.
Yeah,
I guess.
You know, you become just like that guy.
But I think that's different now than it was then.
Like what was in in Party Down, like how like Adam Scott's character is just like that.
Are we having fun yet?
Yeah, and that's just what he's known as, right? Like you can become that, right? Like I think that's every actor's like worst nightmare, really. Like, you know. Yeah, I think that's what happened to him originally. But like you said, since then he's put out.
Although if you start your career like that, I guess maybe it's a little different.
Yeah, and I think that's what happens.
Because you like reach stardom and then you can kind of do what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess he wasn't getting like work. That's why he did indie.
Yeah,
like maybe not work, but yeah, not like
actually. I read a
shit.
very interesting thing on Matthew McConaughey like a couple weeks ago, where it was Matthew McConaughey went a solid like almost 2-3 years without working because he was over.
Oh, because he was rom-com guy.
He was like he was just an ass, right? He was just someone that they're going to put in the movie. They're like, here's an attractive guy who's going to spout off a couple lines, and he's like, that's what it is. But Matthew McConaughey was in movies like at the beginning of his career, like he was in like Dazed and Confused, which is like, all right, he was good in that. Like Contact.
All right.
Yeah. And that's which is where that came from. Or like Contact with Jodie Foster, where he kind of he was good. He's good. He was
Carl
good.
Sagan movie.
Yeah, that's right. It was Carl Sagan movie.
Mm-hmm.
A very solid flick. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's pretty good. But yeah, and then he started doing the rom-coms, and then it took him so long to get away from that, and then he had to start like.
So Hero was dope though.
Oh God, with Steve Zahn and.
Oh yeah, I forgot he's in that movie.
Penelope Cruz, I believe, is also in that as well as the lead. Yep. Actually, not a terrible movie. It's kind of like
it's. Yeah, I actually
watchable.
rewatched it like a couple of years ago. It's fun. Yeah, it's not great, of course, but
it's no Dallas Buyers Club.
It's probably better than like Jungle Cruise. You know,
it's probably better than Jungle Cruise. Fucking Disney movie where they're on a cruise.
Oh yeah, you mean the?
There's another
the one that just came out.
I don't know. There's one. I just saw the picture of like Gal Gadot and a bunch of people on a boat, and it's a Disney movie.
I think,
and it's like a boat in the 30s, and I was like, isn't that just like Jungle Cruise? Like,
yeah, but that's like the murder mystery one. Is that what you're talking about?
I have no idea.
Death on the Nile.
I think it's called Death on the Nile. Oh God. Oh no, that sounds awful.
I didn't even put that together.
Yeah.
Death on the Nile, right?
Death on the Nile. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Anyway, that's already out, but
yeah, like I said with the Matthew McConaughey thing, yeah, it's just like some people take a step back and then they kind of just reassess their careers, and he was able to do that, and now he's a well-respected actor, right? And I think that's what Pattinson's trying to do too. And like I think in this role also, like he does a good job. Do you not think he did a good job in this? Like,
yeah, I do.
I think a lot of people's gripes is that like people were like
he didn't have enough.
A lot of people were like, he's an emo, he's emotional. He looks like one of those, like, he's like...
He shows no emotion.
But I think that's what they're trying to do, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that, and that's clear.
Yeah,
he did that well. It's not because he's acting poorly that there's no emotion. It's because that's what the
script calls for. Yeah.
Yeah, and he
That's how I felt. And I think they're trying to recapture, like, I'm not the biggest, like, Batman and, like, enthusiast, but I think they're trying to capture, like, the comics aspect of it, where it's darker and like grittier, like kind of thing, and they're trying to get away from like the
superhero stuff.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, no, I thought he was fine. Like I thought he was really good. Like he wasn't bad. there just wasn't enough to the character. Like, there was no real, like, arcs.
Yeah.
Like,
no
there's a
meat.
small one when he, like, finds out.
Yeah, some stuff.
Which is, like, fine because he's the Batman and he's, you know, fucking doing kicking ass type shit.
Taking names, kicking it.
And yeah, the Batman has, like, no, like, vocal inflection. He just speaks very, like...
monotone.
This is... Because to disguise his voice idea, but he's just like,
oh, the Mr.
These are the facts, and he's, like, pissed about everything. That's the character.
Yeah.
Like, that's the character in the comic books, and even, like, most of the movies, really. Like, that's the Batman character.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, he did completely fine job at that, and I don't think it's, like a breakthrough performance in any way.
No, I agree with you fully. I do fully agree with you.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah. Any of the other actors really stand out to you? I mean, we can talk about my personal favorite, and obviously not enough of them, and I wish there was a bit more, Paul Dano. And,
love Paul
and
Dano.
We'll get into that in a bit later.
Big fan of Paul Dano.
Oh, man. That's where you get someone to play that kind of role, which they kind of...
He's one of my favorite actors, I'll say. Yeah.
He's up there for me as well. That's where you get someone to play these roles. Also, great job by, which you didn't know, Colin Farrell, right? Like, these guys, and Turturro was great in that as well, too. I think the villains overall, were very well casted.
So, yeah, Paul Dano's thing, I'll say, is good, but and especially his, like, fucking monologues.
Oh, his monologues
awesome.
are fucking amazing.
But, to me, there was a little bit of cheese.
Yeah.
Which, it's a comic book movie, so...
But you don't have to have the cheese in that.
That's
there shouldn't be.
too.
I don't think there should have been any cheese in that movie. Which there wasn't. Like, there's not like.
It was a little in Paul Dano's character, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
But it didn't need to be there. And like we all see it in the trailer and stuff, like the little question mark thing in the cup. I was like, oh, boo your fan service. I was like, we don't need this. Like, but anyway, I mean, like, so far in the cast. But anyway, let's just dive into the story. So, the story revolves around a murder that has taken place. Mayor of Gotham has been murdered. And murder is afoot. Murder is afoot. So basically, this is more along the lines of a kind of like murder mystery movie where like it's like, who's the killer? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Which we then find out, obviously, like the Riddler, and basically revolves around, you know, this game of cat and mouse of like, will Batman catch the Riddler? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in a nutshell, really. Without giving away too much of it. But yeah.
That's pretty much, I'd say, the whole story.
Yeah. And
the only other thing is the Riddler is like targeting. It's got that Seven sort of thing.
Yes,
He's,
it
like,
does have a very Seven vibe.
Different people for various reasons.
Mm-hmm. Which I'll bring up something with that.
Connected to corruption.
Yeah, which is like, at the end of the day, in Seven, when you found out that the villain was Kevin Spacey, there was no IMDb at that time, so you were like, oh shit, the bad guy is Kevin Spacey. Like, I didn't know that Kevin Spacey was, like, in that movie until the end, and then I was like, oh shit, Kevin Spacey's the bad guy. In this situation, at the end of the movie, I knew it was Paul Dano, so it kind of takes away from that. Like, I was like, the whole time you know it's Paul, but I guess that's just like we know, like.
Yeah, so I think it's because like you just said though, it's
the reveal's not as great at the end.
It's more of a cat and mouse.
Yes,
you know who the cat is, you know who the mouse is.
Yeah,
it's more of like will he catch him rather than who is it? Because even they didn't even write it that way. There's no other suspects.
No, that's right. Yeah, it's not a murder mystery. It's
the only time they hint to that is at the beginning when Batman's there and they're like, Batman could be a suspect. Like that's.
They always blame Batman. But no, essentially, that's what it is. It becomes like this whole like cat and mouse game of like, is Batman gonna find him? And along the ways, he obviously runs into crime families, different characters, and then it kind of all just
really also becomes about like corruption.
Yeah,
police corruption, government corruption, whatever. Which I actually like that part of the movie.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. It was good. The seedy.
That's not really in the other Batman movies, right?
Oh,
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. It's a big point. It's a point in the first one.
Okay.
And the Nolan one. The
Batman Begins.
Batman Begins. That's a big plot point of it, which is like tying into it. That's kind of what I liked about this story too. Is that they didn't do the origin story thing.
No,
that's what I loved. I was like, okay.
They're doing that less and less because
we know,
right?
We're not stupid, right?
Yeah.
Like they'll touch on
with any generation, like the kids that are seeing Spider-Man. The other Spider-Man came out like 3 years before, so they probably saw that too.
We get it. Yeah. So I like how they did that, and Like, the story was really good. Like, I enjoyed the story. Like, it
Yeah.
was different. It was different. It was a different superhero movie to me because it wasn't really a superhero movie. It was kind of...
Right. Okay, so I want to talk about that now. About the noir thing and the superhero movie thing. So, yeah, it was kind of painted to me as this noir movie, and it's set up that way. And I think a big chunk of it was, but then I think it really went superhero movie, and then I didn't really care anymore.
I fully agree with you.
Yeah.
I fully agree with you. It was a great noir movie, and it was like really dark, and it was like, okay, we gotta find this guy, what's going on? And then it obviously, out of nowhere,
once the Riddler starts like doing crazy
Riddler
shit,
stuff,
it just becomes...
It turns into a full-on superhero movie.
Yeah.
But...
a bit, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of... But I think they needed to introduce those elements because they were like, okay, at
That's
the
what
core of
people are
it, it's still like an action superhero movie. I could
But it doesn't have to be.
Exactly. I could have done without that.
Like they did the Joker movie, which I don't necessarily love, but like that movie completely was not a superhero movie. It was its own little thing.
Yeah,
and they could have done that with like that's what I thought this movie was going to be because the original comics were like detective fucking comics. So I thought they were just going to do a detective story, but
which they started.
Yeah,
and then it starts out that way.
Yes, and then without like spoiling yet, like they get into their big like fucking action scene superhero moments.
Yeah, there's reveals. There's crime stuff and like
But I guess Batman's got to punch people.
I guess that's what people want in the end, right? They did, but I liked how they did a good job of in like the really opening of the movie. Like there's a bit of action in the beginning, and then it kind of just goes into the story a bit more, and it kind of stays on that path. And then, like you said, it kind of just...
So, to me,
they're taking it somewhere, and then it just turns into this action movie.
Yeah, I think they're, like, not really falling on the line of where the exact tone is or whatever. Because they could have avoided that small little action scene that only sets up... Let's go into spoilers now.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah. So, the setup of the movie, which I kind of had, like, a bit of problems with, was, like... They were saying everyone was afraid of Batman. Because, like, these like, villains, or, like, bad guys, not villains, are, like, looking into the shadows.
So I think what they're trying to establish is that, like, it's just, like, a fear tactic, like, that he could be there. Like, he could be popping out to, like...
I know, but then, I can't remember the specifics, but then there's a thing where this, like, random gangster dude doesn't even know who Batman is. So I'm like, are these first people, or, like, the kids that they fight, they're not afraid of him? Why are these other people, they paint it up like everyone's afraid, and then he goes to fight these kids that just, like, rob someone?
I think the kids knew who he was. It's just that there was, like, 12 of them, and then he was like, they were like, okay, we're just gonna fucking...
I guess the one kid was, like, afraid of him.
Yeah, the one kid knew who he
was.
But
the one kid seemed to be more like he doesn't want to be a gangster.
That kid's Robin.
Ooh.
That's my theory. Remember how he's like, no, and he saves them? And, like, Robin runs into the crowd, or, like, Robin, like, is an orphan, right? And that kid's probably, like, an orphan.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's my guess. This is just a guess.
Okay.
Because I like, and this is wrong.
I mean, to me, it was like, it's a Two-Face thing. That's the Two-Face character we're talking about.
Yeah. But notice how you could see a bit of his face, but you couldn't see a bit of everyone else's, because either that was to imply that he's not fully evil yet,
okay,
or, like, he hasn't crossed that line of fully becoming...
Well, I thought not in a, like, subtext reason. I thought the reason was because he's their, like, initiate, and you have your face painted half, and then until like you do the fucking job, then they'll paint the rest of your face. But
yeah, it could have been that. I think it was that, or they just want to show his face, and maybe when you see him in the second movie, you know who he is from that one, right? Yeah, because it was too. Right. It was too...
Yeah, because they didn't, like... That seemed like it had a
some
story.
Work. Yeah.
And they didn't conclude it. Yeah. So, yeah, that makes sense. He's probably coming back.
That opens that up. Yeah, so as we go, we see Batman obviously finds out murder, blah, 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 blah. And then all the Dano stuff starts coming in. Did you like the way that it was all set up? Or, like...
The murder and stuff?
Yeah, the murder was cool. Like,
I will say it was nothing new. You know? It wasn't that interesting.
I like how it was like the mayor at the beginning, and then it was like the chief of police, and then it was like this higher up figure, and it was all the people involved, and like the whole crimes conspiracy thing that we'd find out a bit later about. But like, yeah, no, I like how they like trudged through like everybody, and they were like, this person's guilty, and then Gordon's like, why am I not guilty?
One thing I want to ask you about is So it's the Riddler, and he does riddles.
Yeah.
Right? So Batman's on the scene for the first murder.
And he figured
And
this
he's
out
like,
quick.
what's this riddle? Yeah, and every riddle, as soon as someone speaks it out loud, Batman says the answer.
Well, no, that's because Batman's supposed to be really smart, right?
Yeah.
Scientist, right? That's what's, but that's supposed to be the whole thing on it. Is that, but he doesn't get it because remember at the end, there's that big riddle at the end, and he's like, "Well, you didn't get it," and then he goes back and then he figures it out with the carpet thing. Remember?
Yeah.
When he's sitting there and then Paul Dano does that huge...
Yeah, he finds the tool.
Yeah, and he does that huge monologue. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, you haven't figured it out. He's like, you're not as smart as I thought you were. Because that's the whole play, is that he's found somebody who's an intellect... Like, that's the whole thing. It's like an intellectual, like... It's a battle of wits.
So
right?
that's fair. But like, it also didn't give me a second to try to guess what the riddle was, but...
Yeah. No, he brings it up really quick. And I'm like,
he does it immediately.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, he figured that out quick. Like...
but I do want to say one dumb thing about the riddles, or one of the riddles. Like, one of the first riddles is like they find this code and it says like drive, and they
the thumb drive.
Yeah, and then they go to the mayor's house, check his car, and then there's a thumb drive in the car with a thumb on it. And my thing is like, there's a murder at this guy's house. They're gonna check his car anyway.
No, but he had a million cars. Remember, he had that giant like staple of cars.
So why did they check that car?
Well, they ended up checking that car because it had the scissors in the wheel, so to indicate. To go
so
check
if the
car.
cops,
the cops just
the
did a bad
would have
job.
saw the scissors too. That's my point.
Yeah,
like the cops are gonna check the fucking like a guy just got murdered. They're gonna They're gonna see why. They're gonna check his shit.
No, we've already figured out they're all corrupt.
That's a fair valid argument. I'll give you that.
Like we all
maybe they're like, oh no, this guy died. And
maybe I think that's what's happening is that they all knew what was going on.
Okay.
Because remember the DA was like freaking out. He's like,
I thought the mini cops weren't corrupt.
No, they were all corrupt. There was remember he was beating up people in the clubs, and they were like, I beat up that guy, and they were all like cops and stuff.
Yeah. And
then he's like, who else do they have on their payroll? And if you remember correctly, like the DA, who was the guy from House of Cards. Also the villain in Ant-Man, cross superhero movie.
Oh.
But yeah, that guy's like scared shitless. He's like, oh man, they're killing everybody involved in this fucking thing, man. Oh yeah. Well, that's how, that's why, I think that's why, like, it kind of might have played into that. But then again, very good point. Why didn't the cops see that?
It's still kind of weird to me, but yeah. I mean, like, a riddle should be something that you wouldn't normally see. I just feel like you would normally see. Even like Batman. Okay, so say Batman and Gordon, like they're there. They could have checked the fucking house and
yeah, I guess.
Anyway, it's not a big deal, but
it adds to the movie.
But I think you could have wrote that more clever. Is my
oh yeah,
like maybe drive. They know like some and it doesn't have to be drive, but maybe there's another location where that clue is, and they go there and find it in a car there.
But how about that sweet one at the end where they were like, oh, you're looking for like El Rata or whatever, and then it was like URL or something like that?
That's the one, actually. I was like, how did he figure that out? So URL.
But remember, they keep repeating it. They're like El Rata.
True.
They keep, and then they're trying to figure out, they're like, no, you're the Penguin.
Because
the Penguin
has La Rata, right?
Yeah, and then they're also like Falcone. Falcone also has wings, right? Or they're like, and then remember Penguin, he's like...
has wings.
He's like, that looks like a rat with wings to me. That was cool. I like how he did the little penguin waddle, because they had him like, tied up. And he's like, where are you guys going?
I didn't even book that at first.
Yeah. Well, penguin waddle. That was cool. That was a nice little throwback. But yeah, no, that was the thing, right? And eventually he figures it out, which leads to... I thought that one was well written. I was like, yeah, that's a smart little like.
No, that's true because they did have a lot of time with it.
Yeah,
because it was supposed to be the bad Spanish. Mm-hmm. They were like, oh no, he did it on purpose.
Yeah, Paul Dano. I wish we could have seen more of him. We obviously know he's the bad guy. I wish we could have seen more of him just based on that fucking monologue at the end when he goes and visits him. I was like, that was the best part of the whole fucking movie. I was like, I would have loved to see just an hour and a half of just
that shit. That's the more like noir shit that I would like to see. So I will say, so the worst part of the movie for me was that like end action sequence.
Oh yeah, that was not necessary.
No.
It was kind of reminiscent of that Chris Pratt movie.
Okay.
Well, you remember that shitty one with the ice thing?
One?
Yeah. And I remember I was like, why didn't you just stop? I was like, you could have just stopped there.
What it made me think of, which I didn't like, was the Nolan Batman movies. Like when, the Joker and he has all his cronies with the Joker masks.
Oh, yeah, that was the end scene where they're blowing up the boats.
Because they're all his cronies. like they're all the Riddler's cronies and they're fighting. Like it just like
They're
was the
incel
same.
people.
Yeah, a bunch of all the incels.
Yeah, the green bastards.
Yeah,
Fucking parts unknown.
the internet fucking incels, but. And then also the like flooding of the city reminded me of Batman Begins when they like
Oh yeah.
they like put the sewer gas out or whatever the fuck.
I didn't even think of that either.
Yeah, it was like the same thing. Everyone's like running off the streets into buildings.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of that thing. It's like Gotham's being terrorized kind of thing. I didn't like that, like flooding in the city thing. I understand like the metaphorical like wash away the fucking.
But
I get it. Like
Nice.
I understand it, but like it's not really necessary to me. It's like if you had to just ended it with the Paul Dano thing, where it's like, okay, I got you. You're in jail now. Yeah. It's over. I would have been completely okay with that. I did not need that extra like add-on sequence.
Agreed.
And I understand that that's critical to establish. He's like, oh, I guess I am the hero now, right? Because he has that whole thing where he fights the incels, and then Zoë Kravitz saves him, and then he does like the adrenaline for no reason.
And he just happens to find the new mayor down, like
yeah,
when
I
he
don't
lands
know,
in the ground.
Yeah, that was an extra like 30 minutes to a 3-hour movie that was not necessary. Like you could have skipped over that. Like same with the Zoë Kravitz parts, you didn't have to add that love thing in there.
And that's where Paul Dano like runs to the shop, and he goes to the coffee shop to like hide. I'm just imagining him running in there and be like, do you guys do latte art? Do you do latte art? okay, do a question mark for me real quick.
Yeah,
he's just sitting there.
Because they got there so quick. And I was like, man, I was like, what kind of barista background does this motherfucker have? I was like, I used to work with a guy and I used to watch him make hearts, and it was like a fucking art to it.
Yeah.
And I looked at that and I was like, dude, that thing is so perfectly symmetrical.
Like, well, that's real convenient.
Yeah, I was like, do you know
or do you think he's carrying around that coffee cup the whole time? Like,
shit.
Just wait till they see this fucking thing.
He is meticulous.
That's fair.
Did you make that for him? No, he brought it in. I mean, the fact that he's able to get down the fire escape, run into the diner with the foam not like falling apart.
Yeah, the Zoe Kravitz love scene, or you mean
like the whole love, like the whole.
Yeah,
I didn't. You didn't need it.
It didn't bother me. Actually, I really liked her stuff when she was in the club and shit.
Yeah,
when
like
she had the eye camera.
Yeah, that was cool.
I like those scenes.
Yeah, it was just cool. Like, it's a part of the story, and I understand that, how she's just trying to find her friend, and that all connects into it.
But I think it would have been better, again, if it was just that was involved in the noir story, and she's helping him.
Yeah.
So, like she did in the middle of the movie, when she goes into the
But then
club,
she goes rogue, and it becomes about her. And I'm like, it doesn't...
Yeah.
And I'm like, it doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to be about her. I did like that element.
But I guess they're all, like, they're setting up like sequels and shit. Like,
no, oh yeah, 100% she'll be back.
Yeah, sure. Like that's what I mean. They're setting up this like they have to end it where their fucking relationships like on the rocks, and they're doing things like against each other so that they can like come back or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it was unnecessary. I think that the girl who plays the mayor is supposed to also be Batwoman too, right?
Oh, really?
We'll see what happens with that. You're gonna start introducing a million fucking characters, because obviously we see at the end, which I didn't need either, which really kind of bugged me a little, is that like I love the Joaquin Phoenix, like the Joker movie, and like the whole thing was that was supposed to tie into this one. Completely nullifies everything, because that movie takes place in the 70s, right? Or the late 70s, early 80s, whatever it is. And this one takes place in like current day. So it doesn't add up, right? They completely washed over that. They do not like cross paths, right? They're not like, so they're kind of just introducing a new Joker character, and then which we see him at the end, and I was like, oh, did you really have to go about it this way?
Which,
like,
by the way, I didn't notice, but when I was looking up who was in the movie, it's Barry Keoghan, which is like the guy from, he's in like Killing of the Sacred Deer. You saw that movie?
No, like
Yorgos Lanthimos movie.
Yorgos
Lanthimos?
Lanthimos?
Yorgos Lanthimos, the guy that did The Lobster and shit.
Oh, yeah!
So he did the Killing of the Sacred Deer.
I've never seen that movie, no.
Also, this guy is also the kid from, like, in Green Knight. We watched Green Knight. He's like the weird, he's
trickster kid. The kid who's like, oh, yeah, he's trying to, like, fuck him over.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the beginning, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that guy. So he's the Joker.
Oh, he's in the Marvel movie, Eternals.
Is he?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's one of the leads in that as well.
Okay.
So he's also, so I can see a correlation.
That's interesting.
What are they doing here?
That guy's great though, but he also plays like really creepy, deranged kids. So it kind of makes sense.
So he could be good for the Joker.
Character. Yeah, I think he will be great.
I don't like how they're like teaming them up already at the end. And there's like, I didn't like that.
I also was like, oh, okay.
Like, introduce the Joker separately. On like, don't introduce him at the end of the movie. Like, hey, look, people, it's coming. Listen.
Well, they're gonna work together or something, I guess.
I like how they did it in the Nolan movies, where like at the end of the first Batman, where like he gives him the card, and he's like, Gary Oldman gives him the card. He's like, yeah, this guy's got a thing for theatrics. And I was like, that's cool. I was like, do that. Don't do something like.
And obviously, it's a fucking Joker with that dumbass laugh, right?
Why is he one cell next to him? What are the odds of that?
What does he say? It's like, you know what is good about having a friend? I don't know.
He tells him some riddle, and he's like, yeah, there's something you have more the less. Something you have the less of, you want, or whatever. And he's like, a friend.
Yeah, the least you have, the more important it is.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
a friend.
Yeah. And then you're just like, come on. You're like, come on. I mean, that's how I felt anyway. I was like, you could have established this character a bit better instead of doing it.
Yeah,
this way.
even if like that exact scene without like the laugh, and you're like, ooh, who is it? Like,
yeah,
that would have been better.
I get it. People are dumb, but you don't have to like you don't have to hand draw them a picture,
or just show like his smile in the shadows,
yeah, or something like that. Of like, I don't really feel like it needs to be implied that the Joker's going to be in a Batman movie. We know he's going to be, right? Like, like it's just silly to me that they're like, guess what? The next one has the Joker in it. Like, get ready. Like, I'm like, okay, I know
right.
that. That's fine.
Also, but I mean, the Joker is a great character. I get that. Like, it's
a great villain.
But I'm also like, does every fucking Batman movie need to have the Joker? Like, aren't there other villains?
No, I think it's because the Joker is like his main
rival,
nemesis.
Right?
Like,
true.
Yeah.
Like,
you have to have that. It's like like his like it's his Lex Luthor, right? Like like you gotta have that.
Yeah, but that
DC
again goes
DC,
to my
like comics aren't as filled with like villains as
okay,
much as like
the
Marvel universe is.
Right.
Like I feel like Batman has quite a few villains, but like predominantly it's like the same like Two-Face, Penguin, whatever, Riddler. Like it's kind of the same shit, different day.
Same shit, different pile.
Yeah, same shit, different pile.
We haven't said this yet, Todd. Did you like the movie?
I really liked the movie. It was what I kind of wanted. I wanted a darker movie. Like I said before, I didn't want it to run for as long as it ran.
The classic runtime Todd segment. How do you feel about the runtime, Todd?
Runtime is too long.
Yeah.
They need to stop.
It's too long. It was pretty much 3 hours, right? It was like 2 hours, 58 minutes.
Yeah, shave off half hour.
Yes.
Shave off half hour and we're
agreed.
Fine.
And there's plenty of places to shave, I think, in the entirety of the movie.
I think take away that last scene, like that last little bit, and you're good.
Yeah.
But overall, I really enjoyed it. I'm going to put this out there. I liked it more than the first Nolan one.
Batman Begins, that's fair.
Batman
Very
Begins.
different movie.
Yes, I liked it for the sole fact that it wasn't an origin story, that I kind of just went into it.
Yeah.
And it was a lot darker. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Definitely worth going to check out, I would say. On a rating, I would give it a 7.9.
Okay.
7. I can't give it the full 8. Just because it was long towards the end and I had a few acting issues. But...
you can't give it an 8 because it was over an hour and a half.
No, anything over 2.5 hours cannot garner it.
What about Lawrence of Arabia?
Yeah, well, that was like 1960? Like back. That's okay. Classic movies are allowed to be long.
Okay, I got
That's
you.
fair.
I got you.
Like classic movies are allowed to be long.
I would give it maybe a 7.2.
Okay. Did you like it more than Nolan movies?
I did.
You like it more than the first Nolan movie?
I like them more, I think, than all of the Nolan movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Even more than Dark Knight.
I might have to rewatch Dark Knight, but again, like Dark Knight is very like
Dark Knight was really just
superhero-y and action.
It's Heath Ledger's performance that really pushes that movie to like the upper echelons that people see.
I will say something I wanted to mention about this movie compared to the Nolan movies. It was nice that Batman drives an actual fucking car in this movie.
Right? It was like a muscle car.
Yeah,
I was like,
cool.
okay. I was like, that's normal. I was like, that's what I wanted.
That's a good Batmobile, not a fucking like military fucking huge ass thing.
Yeah, and he's kind of more of a vigilante. Like he rides around at night. Like I like that scene at the beginning when he's walking through with like his when he's walking through the rain and he's walking through all the people and he's like, yeah, shit's going down tonight. And he's just got like his little he looks like from that Watchdog game. He's got like his little mask on.
Exactly. Yeah, true.
And he's always riding around that motorcycle, like just like scoping stuff out. Yeah, it was cool. It was more realistic, is what I found. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like it. The biggest thing was that nothing surprised me. Even it's like, this scene where it's like, oh, what's Riddler's next target? Oh my god, it's me. I'm like, oh yeah, no shit. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that
so
wasn't a
nothing
surprise.
was surprising. There was no like things that were new in the style it was done in. I liked that it was darker, but it wasn't like pushed far enough that it was like, wow, this is different.
It could have been more R-rated. It could have been...
Exactly.
It still comes in only
more
a
on the
PG-13.
7 fucking angle would have been better.
But I think what they're doing is because this...
Which is fine. Like, I'm not going to tell them.
Because I think they're trying to turn it into, like, their fucking... Oh, God, what do you call it? Their Avengers, like, Justice League. Yeah. Because I think, like, The Rock has a movie
which is also
coming out.
fair. Like, DC needs a franchise because they've been like failing at putting out movies.
Oh yeah.
So it's fair to set up a movie where
out of all the stuff that DC has done, this is the best thing they've done.
Yes,
so far.
I will agree with
this.
that.
And the Joker are like good steps towards like creating like an actual like franchise as opposed to like those like crappy Ben Affleck movies. Or he wasn't even in a Batman movie. He was just in Batman vs Superman.
Who?
Ben Affleck, yeah. And like a bit of...
Oh no, he was in
Suicide
Squad.
Oh, for like a minute. But whatever, who cares?
I don't know. I didn't watch them either. I just know that he was in it.
Yeah, fucking Suicide. Apparently on that, like Margot Robbie's like, I'm not making any of these more goddamn Suicide Squad movies, which I'm like, yeah, that's fair. Like,
she wanted to make 2 fucking Birds of Prey movies or whatever, but
yeah, Birds of Prey is actually not bad. Have you ever watched that?
No.
Suicide Squad, the first one, not great. Birds of Prey, like it's kind of like an all-female cast. And it's just like kind of a heist movie kind of thing. Well,
we watched the scene or 2 of the new Suicide Squad when we were coming out of.
Oh yeah, we're coming out of the movies. I actually watched the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we coming out of it. We went to go watch that.
Maybe like
Dune.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was Dune. Yeah, because they came out around the same time.
Yeah, we saw. I think the scene we saw was like one of the biggest scenes. Coincidentally, she's like fighting people in a fucking orphanage or some shit.
Yeah. It was a scene with the
stick.
Yeah. That was it was pretty.
It was like her breakout. She's breaking out of something.
Yeah, it was a pretty important scene in the movie. But yeah, I think we started watching that towards the end. Yeah, we got there towards the end of the movie, so like a lot of shit was popping off. That movie actually is not that bad. James Gunn directed that.
Well, I was gonna say that like 10. We probably saw 10, 15 minutes. Like, I enjoyed it.
I would say it's on Crave if you'd like. Check out the other one. And then also subsequently they have the spin-off show Peacemaker with John Cena, which is actually, I would say, top-notch television. So I'd put it up there. Okay. I give it a solid 8.5 to let you know. I would like to add also with this, we saw this in standard. I saw this in IMAX, or with the, what do you call that, where the shit moves.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Like,
but I was really stoned.
D-box?
B-box, but I was really stoned. D-box.
I guess they call it like fucking, I don't even know.
But I was really stoned when I bought the ticket and I went into it and I forgot that I bought the ticket in the D-box.
So your seats were moving?
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck is going on in here? And like, I was sitting there like,
that's fucking dumb.
The floor was moving and I was like, what the fuck? And I forgot that I had bought the ticket for that. And I was like, this is weird.
No,
I'll never ever pay for one of those things again. I didn't know what it was, and then I realized I was like, "Oh, this is what this is." I was like, "I don't care for it." I mean, I'm sure there are some movies that could be utilized.
Yeah, I could see more of a.
I heard stories of people tell me where they spray mist at you and like your seat moves like you're at like a Universal Studios.
Yeah, those are more of those like short, like half-hour, 20-minute ones.
Yeah, this was
that they make just for that.
This is like those like little machines you pop quarters into on the outside of like grocery stores. Like it just kind of gently nods back and forth. Like I thought I was gonna fall asleep. But anyway, yeah, fix the D-box. That's my one thing takeaway from this. Let's get that shit going.
I saw the SpongeBob one at Disney, I think.
Oh, okay.
Or it might have been, actually, I think it's at Canada's Wonderland.
Yeah, I would have been, yeah.
Move and they spray you and shit.
I think I remember that. I think I might have gone on that as well. Oh, the Italian Job. How about that one, eh?
Italian Job's dope.
I got stuck on that ride, eh?
Did you?
Yeah, for like an hour. It was great.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, it's
Italian Job classic. I believe, it's got a different name, of course.
Oh, yeah, they changed all the names. Yeah, because Paramount lost the rights.
I can't remember what that one's called. It's like Stunt Track.
Yeah, Stunt Track. Top Gun is now Flight Simulator, Flight Center, Flight Deck.
Flight Deck.
Flight Deck, yes.
I haven't been to Wonderland since, I gotta say, like...
I haven't been like 10 years.
I've been well over that, yeah. So 2008. They didn't have Leviathan the last time I went. They only had Behemoth, and now there's like Leviathan and another one, right?
Yeah, there's another one up that, right?
Leviathan and...
There's another one above Leviathan.
Yeah, which I can't remember what it's called. But...
I mean, that's how roller coasters go. They just keep building them bigger and better.
I guess.
Faster. Like, I don't know.
And stronger.
Yeah, and stronger.
Which- Exactly.
Yeah, do that with the Batman movies.
Oh, chirp!
Okay. All right. So we sift through the shit, so you don't have to. So
Well, what did you call this shit?
no,
No.
it wasn't. But there will be
But
bad
we
ones.
do, yeah. We do.
So I would, recommend go see it. Add us on Twitter and keep checking out our stuff. And if you got any suggestions for movies you want us to talk about or check out,
Holla.
holla.
Peace. Peace.